Lisa, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us. You guys are the real MVP. So guys, this video is made for you, and I thought to share where this, Pankala Duban is actually having an emotional breakdown. She is calling on everyone to come out and act and do the right thing before things actually goes out of proportion. This got a lot of people reacting, and I was able to put up some of those stitches. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
It's time to speak up. One of the things that we have been watching for as a marker for what our next move has happened. Now that has happened, it is time for the American people to move to the next step in our resistance. And what I need from you right now is for you guys to spread this word near and far, everywhere, on every platform that you have, and don't be fearful. If we don't share this out of fear, then they win. I'm scared too. I am scared too. But there are some things we can live without, and there are some things we cannot live with. So share this. All retired flag officers, American Opposition wants you to contact them, and their contact information is contact@americanopposition.org, right there on the screen. And people far and wide, the people of the world who have come to be my friends, I need you to share this on every platform you have, because not all of our retired flag officers are here in our country. We need you to spread this around the world, that we need all of our retired flag officers to come home now, and contact AmericanOpposition.org. The goal of what AmericanOpposition.org, and I'm reading this from them, from their post, so I don't mess it up, is to organize a military commission to engage with current military staff to discuss next steps should the Trump administration choose to disregard legal orders. Please, people around the world, spread this and let your leaders know that we, the people, who are the highest authority in the United States of America, because our Constitution is above any president, and we, the people, recognize our friends and allies. And when we have returned our country to sanity, we will not forget our friends and allies. We will not. We, the people, the Constitution is the highest form of government in our country, not the president. Please come love your neighbor. It's time to speak up. We now have confirmation that in the last 24 hours, the Trump administration has violated not one, but 2 court orders. Now, we knew that was coming because yesterday the press secretary said they believed these were illegal orders. They told us they were not going to follow them, and then they didn't follow them. So where does that leave us? That leaves us absolutely in a constitutional crisis. We now have a situation where a sitting president has said, and with his actions shown, that he will not submit to the authority of the courts. That's a problem because Article 3 of the Constitution says that he must. So we are in a constitutional crisis with a president who has flagrantly disregarded the Constitution. So what can we do? Rest assured that there are groups that are working to make plans for the citizens to unite. But in the meantime, we each can do our part. We each need to go on vacation. We need to go on vacation if we can. and we need to stop paying our cable bills. Okay. Everybody needs to be able to go on vacation if they can and to stop paying their cable bills. So about going on vacation, we know that some of you can't. We know that some of you can't feed your children if you go on vacation, and that's okay. We understand that. For those of us who can, even if it's going to hurt some, we need to go on vacation. We need to go on vacation immediately, and we need to go on vacation and stay on vacation as long as it's necessary. And we need to stop paying our cable bill. We need to stop paying our cable bill. You know, if our cable company isn't providing services to us, we don't pay the bill. So, how do we do that? Well, some of us can go and change the paperwork at the place that takes out our cable bill, like where we go every day from 9 to 5. And you can change it so that you don't take out any money for your cable bill. Some of us who pay our cable bill ourselves can stop doing that. We have to stop feeding the monster. That is the only way. These are the only two things that we can do that can make a difference. We have seen it already with some of the boycotts. The only thing that matters to this group of people to whom we are trying to get a message across is their money. So I need everybody to spread the word that we all need to go on vacation and we all need to stop paying our cable bills immediately. Immediately. Go love your neighbor. And it is time for the American people to move to the next step in our resistance.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is the reason why I think we should all be coming together and having a discussion instead of just calling each other names and stuff and saying fascists and stuff like that. You know, I think that we should all come together and have a discussion and say, you know, here's what I see a problem. Here's a solution. Here's how I think it should be done. I think we should all be coming together instead of just going nuts. I think that civil war is not what anybody wants. I think that we should all come together and love unconditionally and stop all this fear-mongering stuff. Hey, what do you think? What do you think? I'm not just trying to say, just having a conversation, look at my other videos. I'm a nice guy. Just want to have conversation and understand it from your point of view. Please, please, before you guys start going down this road, me and many other people would like to understand your guys' mindset and thoughts. Thank you. Have a good night.
Fearful? Well, I don't know that you're really afraid of the right thing. There might be some things, but we'll get in that religious standpoint a little bit later. You know, they're building a third temple and all. But, you know, if it goes as far as helping our allies go, like Zelensky, tell him to sell his $20 million freaking mansion there, and he can get his weapons that way, even though he's been selling them all off to drug cartels and everything else that we have to battle. So, yeah, and what flag officers have to do with all this, excuse me, I really don't know. Lady, you're afraid of yourself. I think there's something wrong here, and it's not what you think it is. But oh my God, have a day.
Okay, I'm going to chat with some folks around the country who care about saving our democracy, and in particular are looking at issues on the local and state level, because it is so important that we are not just focused on what's happening at the national level, because the Heritage Foundation Project 2025, the oligarchs, they have all been infiltrating local and state politics for many, many years, and that is a lot of why we are here. And progressive folks seem to wrongly have this very top-down perspective, especially like third-party folks seem to think that the way you build a third party is once every 4 years you run a presidential candidate, and that's just, we have to be focused on local and state politics as well, not only to cut off any threats at the pass, right, to realize the way that the right, the maggots, the fascists are trying to infiltrate on the local and state level, but also because we need to start platforming out. We need good people in state and local politics. I mean, there are some, but we need people who are going to vigorously defend democracy and work for the rights of people in their community, in their state, and the nation. So one of the other things we talk about in that group are bills that are coming up on the state level and also court cases on the state and local level, right? I was talking about this very unfortunate recent case where the utility company is going to be able here in Portland to cut down over 400 trees out of Forest Park. And I was expressing my frustration over that, my grief and sadness of if you cut down the forest, it is no longer Forest Park, and how that was connecting to this larger plan of Trump's to want to log vast swaths of our national forests, right, which is our heritage. That is our wealth as a nation, is in the natural landscape that we all share, the commons that we own together, and our national parks are part of that. So I was lamenting about that, expressing frustration about that, and one of the other women in the group was like, so did you hear about Minnesota? Not to just take it in a complete tangent, but hey, this thing is happening in Minnesota. That has nothing to do with parks, but it is something, equally terrifying and terrible in a different way. So there is a bill that's been put forth in Minnesota to make Trump derangement syndrome a mental illness where the state can step in and intervene. And folks were kind of freaking out about it. And I was like, okay, y'all, let's take a step back for a second. Let's look at the bill. So I looked it up. It's Senate Bill 2589, and it is sponsored by these chuckle fucks here below. It wants to make Trump derangement syndrome an addition to the definition of mental illness. So this is what is freaking people out. Trump derangement syndrome is being defined in this bill as the acute onset of paranoia in otherwise normal persons that is in reaction to the policies and presidencies of President Donald J. Trump. Symptoms may include Trump-induced general hysteria, which produces an inability to distinguish between legitimate policy differences and signs of psychic pathology in President Trump's behavior. This may be expressed by verbal expressions of intense hostility toward President Trump, or 2, overt acts of aggression and violence against anyone supporting President Trump or anything that symbolizes President Trump. Wow, that sounds really scary. That sounds terrifying. It sounds like they want to commit people. The bill goes on to talk about immediate intervention and the potential to commit people for acute mental illness, including Trump derangement syndrome. And that sounds really scary. And we know, especially against women, historically here and in Europe, women have been diagnosed with hysteria for having opinions, ideas that run counter to the norm. We have been falsely diagnosed with mental illness and committed, had our freedoms taken away, our children taken away. So especially I think for women, because that's the group that I was in where we were talking about this, for women, that bill sounds really scary. It sounds like obviously a violation of your freedom of speech, because it is. And obviously, some Republican MAGA old crusty white dudes in the Minnesota Senate, they don't get to decide what is a mental illness and what is not. And they don't get to trample on your First Amendment right to criticize symbolism of the president or, people who like him, It is obviously on so many levels illegal. It would not hold up in court. First of all, it's not going to get passed. It's not going to get signed into law. And it's not going to hold up in court even if all of those things happen. And that's what I was trying to explain, is that y'all, this is something that is meant to freak you out and distract you and suck up your time. And it is not worth any of that. It's not worth your energy. This is not something that you need to be focusing on. Do you remember when I made a video several weeks ago where I was like, if something comes out in the news and it really freaks you out, it elicits this very intense emotional response. Let's sit on that news story for 36, 48 hours and see what happens. And let's process it and see what respected journalists are saying and see if this is something that is really worth having that kind of escalated response over. Is this really a 5-alarm fire, like Chuck Schumer yesterday? Or is this something that is meant to, make you extremely anxious and make you feel overwhelmed and want to give up? Or just meant to troll you and get a rise out of you? This Minnesota bill is going nowhere. This is not the kind of thing we need to give our energy to. It's not any different than wanting to make Trump's birthday a national holiday or wanting to put a bill forth that would allow him to run for a third term. These are not where the threats are. This is just the kind of shock and awe. This is the kind of meant to freak you out and overwhelm you stuff that we need to identify it for what it is and then set it aside and focus on things that are actually important, that need our attention and our energy. Right? I just wanted to bring this up because, when I'm talking about Forest Park getting logged, and I'm talking about Trump wanting to cut down our national forests, those are actionable threats. Those are things that might very well happen and things that should concern us. We need to focus on the things that have a high likelihood of being implemented and not give our energy to things like this Minnesota bill. And like, let's be real. If you live in Minnesota, you should be outraged that this is what your Senate is wasting their time on. They are wasting taxpayer dollars, energy, and time on this kind of nonsense. Y'all should be giving those dudes hell. Y'all should be up in arms about the way that they are wasting taxpayer resources and time, and they are actively contributing to making your state less functional and, facilitating the slide into fascism. That's what you should be upset about, not about the fact that, you are worried that this bill that will never pass might come into law, and you are now catastrophizing in your head like, oh my God, I can't criticize my Trump neighbor, or I can't speak out against fascism, or I'm going to get committed to a mental institution. Like, that is not something that has even this much of a likelihood of coming to pass. So I just want to remind folks, when you see a story, please try to evaluate not only the source, but also what is the likelihood of this becoming a problem I need to worry about? And is it a distraction from something else I need to focus on? Or is it something that is meant to overwhelm me and shut me down? Is this somebody trolling me? Is this something that is meant to make me afraid and to cede my rights in advance, to comply, to obey in advance? Let's evaluate what the story is, because they are trying all kinds of nasty shit. They are trying all kinds of chaos, all kinds of anxiety-inducing shit. Some of it is a real threat and some of it is not. I need to go pick up my tiny dog. She's crying. Hang on. There are more than enough things that are a cause for concern. So let's make sure that we are using our limited bandwidth, our limited energy, focusing on the real problems, the real threats, okay? Let this be a lesson to you. Let this be the example that, if you read about this or you heard about this, if you're in Minnesota and this prompted you to, this got your heart going and you were like, oh my God, this is terrible. Let this be a lesson to you about evaluating the story and, thinking about where we need to give our energy. Also, I just want to say something here at the end. I never understood why Trump derangement syndrome was a term that got coined by MAGA to mean people that are critical of Trump. People who are deranged and obsessed with Trump, who were wearing diapers and worship Trump and make their whole personality Trump and decorate their house. The people who are the slobbering MAGAs, they're the ones with Trump derangement syndrome. They're the ones who are in a cult. It's weird. I guess it's that every accusation is a confession once again. Anyway, protect your energy. Know where to dedicate your resources. Know what is worth getting worked up over, and what is just something that you can set aside and move along.
I actually believe that Black people are still standing down. They are still standing on business. They are still, looking and being so careful until the next 4 years, or probably less than that. This is what is actually expected. This is actually what is expected from you. You can keep on calling upon all of your communities to start up. You have the privilege. You have the privilege. They will listen to you more than people that looks like me. They will not come for you, maybe being physically on you, or just in the case of police brutality and all of that. They will not do that. So, as you have started this course, I think you should get more of your people so that to see what is going to happen. This is what is expected of, women, especially white women. You guys have all of the privileges. Use your privilege for the good cause. Use your privilege for a good cause. I think with that, things might actually turn around. Things might actually turn out in a good way. Because anyone that is actually expecting people that looks like me to go out there, protest and all of that, it's just going to waste time, because they are not. They are in their era of just sitting and watching to see what people are going to do. They have been the ones doing all of this job. They have been the one, calling out for togetherness and coming out to protest for the betterment of everyone. I believe the table has turned and it is actually your own turn to start it up. Then after that, every other POC people might join. And when people that look like me have seen that, okay, you guys are really serious, then they might. But it's not even a promise because the ball is in your court right now. It's left for you. The thing is that all of the things that is happening was expected to affect some group of people, or will I say particularly black people. But it happens that with everything that is happening right now, with all of the FA and FO here and there, is affecting but people that looks like you. It affect I feel so bad in some type of way because given with what she is saying, I think she actually is not a MAGA, which she didn't specify in the video, but with all what she is saying, I don't know if it's genuine, but I just wish it is. This is the energy that is expected of you in order to see if something might happen. Because if he is not stopped, things might get worse. It's not as if black people don't realize what is happening or they are not being affected. It's just that they are already used to everything that is being unfolding right now. So it's not something new. It's not something that meets the eyes. That it's not something new. They just keep it that way. So that is why it's as if they're unreactive, and they have been, they have been the first people to throw the stone. They have been the one leading the course. Like they have really tried their best, and most importantly, they tried their possible best to let you guys know what is going on. But your own people decided that they don't care. So far, it does not affect them. They don't care. But right now, it's not all about it's going to affect or not. It is actually going to affect you one way or the other. It's going to affect your own people one way or the other. Like, seriously. You know, they have been fighting. They have been calling out. They have been the one organizing. They have been like, it's so tiring. It's so tiring that you keep on trying to do things. You keep on trying to like bring people to get to understand what is really going on. And these people, because it does not really affect them, you know, personally, they don't care about your feelings. People are having an emotional breakdown or mental whatsoever is the fact that you have not really experienced something like this before. This is the first time. It's as if you are being oppressed. But there are some particular group of people who have been this oppressed for over 400 years, and they've been all out crying, trying to speak out, trying to let people understand what is going on, but it's as if their voices are not heard. There is something about a wicked person, you know. When someone is wicked, this person is the kind of person that keep on hurting anyone that is closer to him or her. And all of a sudden, these people that is very close to them decided to actually distance themselves. This same wicked person, let's just see a wicked mother or something, might eventually go after his or her own offspring because they are unable to reach other people. This is what is happening right now. This is the case of what is happening right now, and it's just so unfortunate. Anyway, lovelies, wanna just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So guys, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Give me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave a thought in the comment section of what you think, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.